All right, welcome back, guys, to another Mix with Vic podcast. As you remember, it is Jake. He's been my only guest so far, but we'll have more in the future. And this is the new studio, which looks awfully a lot like my YouTube studio, because it is. And just move the pictures around a little bit. But today, we are going to start off with a shot to celebrate I made 1,000 subscriber mark.
Woo! Pretty sick, dude. Congrats. I'm stoked on that.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone. And thank you for subbing. That one's actually pretty smooth.
It's not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, still need a chaser.
Kirkland Canadian whiskey right there.
I'm such a baby with shots. Oh,
same. But that one didn't hit me too bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Well, anyway, if you haven't watched one of these before and you don't know who Jake is one of my best friends, and he is a two-time Olympic gymnast and now recent father. He's a husband, fisherman, weightlifter. I don't know. All of the above.
1,000 hobbies, dude.
Yeah, 1,000 hobbies. Yeah, congrats on the kid.
Thanks, man.
That's
Appreciate
super cool.
It. So exciting.
But yeah, I thought it would be fun to start off talking about like how we met, because we've done a few of these now, and I don't think many people know the story, but it's worth sharing because of like just for networking purposes. Like obviously your friendship with me is more than a networking, and like it's not just a person I know. It turned into so much more than that. But do you remember getting the Instagram DM? You remember when I slid in?
Yeah, dude, it's actually pretty funny because, well, like we were just saying, it's not just a networking relationship. It actually kind of like, I think, started like that. And it's funny how the roles have kind of reversed. I feel like we more like hang out as friends now than we do really like business stuff. But it's like we're trying to find the time to make the business stuff work, which is cool. But no, I do remember, man, I was going through, like, because obviously I wasn't following you, and I have it set to where my messages from people that I don't follow, it goes to like your, it's like a requested message. So I have to check that constantly just to see like whoever I'm not following, if they're sending me a message, I'm just checking it, making sure I'm not missing anything like important or anything like that.
I wish more people did that.
Yeah.
If you're a creator, you know the struggle of people not checking their DMs.
Dude, it's a viable thing to be able to use because like, I've skimmed through some stuff and seen some important people that have tried to reach out and things like that, and this was just one of the things that, especially someone local, you were like, hey man, I'm a videographer, photographer. And if you ever want to do anything, hit me up. And I'm like, all right, well, you're always kind of skeptical at first. I'm like, I don't really know this
world,
guy.
You have to be. Yeah. I could be the average guy on the Facebook marketplace who's just going to stand you up or maybe sell your kidney after I leave you in a ditch somewhere.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, that it's funny because I didn't even know your sister was a photographer. Like I found that out later, and like after I learned that, I was like, damn, like I'm really glad that you still said yes, because you could have easily, like, especially if you're skeptical, just written me off and be like, oh, I'll just use that as an excuse. Like, even if your sister's not like doing anything for you, it's like, oh, my sister takes my photos or something like that, or oh, I don't need it. So that was cool. Cause I mean, if I was in your situation, I don't know what I would have said, especially because like at that time I was so new into it. Like I had the Canon T5. And that thing,
it was kind of more like what, like a hobby for you. Like it was like something you were interested in, but it was not like a career by like really any means.
I still worked at a warehouse, and I was just trying to explore that avenue, trying to see if video was actually right for me, because it was such an intimidating. It's like you're looking at like Everest, like all this stuff that there is to learn. Yeah. And like at first you see this camera and you make something, you're like, oh, that's. Like, that was really fun. That was really cool. But then when you compare it to, like, Hollywood stuff, you're like, wow, like, what's the disconnect here? Why is my stuff not looking like that? And then you realize how much there is to actually learn. Yeah. So, yeah, that was just kind of, like, my way of trying it out. Like, I had done it in high school, had, like, 2 years of a media class, like, loved it. had a camera in my hand as a kid, but like then I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna make money with this. Like I'm not trying to go out there and work for myself because I need a steady paycheck kind of thing. But you know, working in a warehouse for like 5 years will do that to you and just get you nice and depressed to where you will do anything to get out.
I feel you.
But yeah, that like I reached out to you because I remember I was working out at the gym, happened to be the exact same time. I probably had just gotten my shift switched at the warehouse, so I wouldn't have been in there if I didn't get that shift switch. And I knew who you were because like most people in the Reno Sparks area know of Jake Dalton, Olympic gymnast, like because we don't have very many famous people here, or people who like represent Reno.
Right. Small town kind of thing. Yeah,
I knew who you were before that because of the Olympics. And then I saw that you got signed to Cage Muscle, like for the sponsorship. And I was like, oh man, like that's crazy because I was already a huge fan of Cage Muscle, which is weird enough as it is because especially back then, I mean, they were small.
They were small, yeah.
Like I only found out about them from bodybuilding.com, you know, Chris Gethin's workout videos and stuff like that. And he's like a whole nother animal, you know, like he's just, like if you can harness that mindset, then run with it. But, so I knew who you were and I was stretching at the same time as you. And I was like looking over like at the reflection of you in the mirror. I'm like, God, this guy looks familiar. It's like, who is he? And then, I got like a little light bulb in my head. I was like, I think that's Jake. And so like, I just typed you in on Instagram like a little stalker, and I was like, that is him. You know, and then my heart like immediately like sank because I was like, I know I have to talk, like I have to do something about this. I can't not. But then, you know, I kept looking over it at you like throughout the workout, and you kept like checking your watch and, you know, like your heart rate and stuff and like timing your rest. And I was like, I can't be that guy and go up there, distract you from your workout. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I probably would have just looked like a fool, stumbled over my words and whatnot. So instead I was like, I'll just do the bitch move and Instagram message you.
That's hilarious.
And I did that, and I was so surprised when you actually got back to me, because like you said, like, you know, you go through your messages, but then other people don't. And, you know, you have a pretty decent sized following, so I can only imagine how many messages that you get. And back then, I think it was 2017.
Yeah.
So that was a year after the Olympics.
Right.
So, and like, obviously, like your fame probably goes in waves, you know, based on the Olympics.
For sure.
And so, I mean, just the fact that I got a message back, like I was pumped on. I think I even remember getting the message at work, and I was freaking out, and I was telling my friends about it, and then they're like, you know, looking over my shoulder like, dude, that's crazy. What if you start working for him, all this stuff? And then I remember I accidentally sent you a heart. Oh man, that sucked. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Screw you, Instagram, for putting in that feature. And I had to like message again, just be like, you know, that like, I don't like you like that. That was an accident. You know, I just want to keep it professional.
Oh, that was funny.
But yeah, so that led to us meeting up at like 5 or 6 in the morning one morning to shoot. I was talking about that recently with Jessica, my wife, if you guys don't know, is that like I used to wake up at like 4 or 5, go work out, then film you at the gym, and then work an 8-hour shift, and then come home and edit. Yeah. And that was like crazy. And I did that for a while, you know, and like we would film. Was it once a month or like once a week, or what were we doing at first?
I think it was at least once a month.
Yeah.
But I think we were at one point trying to do once a week if we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, it's such a cool experience to come back to now, but like it just gave me the avenue to, you know, practice.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, we would do early in the morning. I mean, there'd be times late at night. We were doing like,
that too.
Shoot too.
I think those were mostly when Cage Muscle finally came around to hiring me to do videos for them.
Stuff,
That was a wild time.
It's so funny, man.
I remember one time even showing up, and I literally forgot my camera bag. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I texted, I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I fucked up. That was not, but you know, because of that, I like triple check everything every time, you know, and I'm sure now that I said that, I'm going to fuck up in the future. But, yeah. And then, so we did our own thing for a while, and then that turned into Cage Muscle finally coming around, hiring me to do your stuff, which was cool. And then like through that, it then went to like, now I'm making videos every now and then for your wife, who's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And then she got me connected with one of my monthly clients, who's a, mortgage advisor.
Lender. Yeah.
Wanting to say financial advisor. Who's a lender. And like, it's just crazy how many connections have happened just because of that one Instagram message. And then obviously work ethic and being a decent person. And
I was going to say, I was like,
it's not just a message.
Yeah, it wasn't just a relationship. It was the fact that everything kind of fell into place in terms of, you know, I tell people this all the time. It's so cool. It's such a, even for me to, on the outside to see, was like that message turned into, okay, let's like figure it out and let's do, you know, for me, I'm like, cool, I get some free video work, you know, like you're just starting out. That's perfect. Like
emphasis on free. Cause I didn't try and charge you, which I think is where a lot of people would go wrong in that situation.
Well, and especially I think like for someone like me, I was like, you know, I knew you were just beginning. So I was like, I'm trying to figure out my next step after, you know, like the Olympic thing. I'm not really in a place like I'm going to like pay for someone to film my own stuff. Like I'll just film and it's not going to be as good, you know? And then I was like, I knew you were starting out. I was like, man, this could be like a really cool, like he helps me and maybe I help him kind of thing. And what I think people don't realize is like, and I was saying, I tell people this all the time. It's such a cool transition to see from like even the first videos that we did and to what, you know, we've done recently. Well, we haven't done a bunch recently, but like the last video that we've done is so cool. Or even like what you've done now, like with other stuff is like so cool. So there's not only a great build of that, but it was the work ethic of going from like working all the time, like you said, getting up early, doing all that stuff and still finding time to do it.
Yeah.
But then what I keep jumping back to this. I tell people all the time, what's so cool to see is like you said, you're working in the warehouse, you have this job that's stable, like you don't really like it, but it's stable and like whatever. And then you finally took the step to go to part-time at the job where you could kind of, which I think looking back on it now is a smart thing because didn't know how this, you know, video thing was going to work out. Right.
Definitely.
But like try it out, get some more work and allowed you to pour more time into it. And then like the full jump into quitting the job, dude. Yeah. Like, oh, it's so.
I went part time for like 4 months.
I was not even
like, that. It's like 3.5.
Couple of months, and then you're like, I'm out, dude. I'm done
for sure. Like I'm done.
But that's so cool, man. Like I think so many people talk about doing that, and like you have all these creators out there. Oh, just do what you want to do what you love, and it's like when it really comes down to like quitting your job and like doing it, it's like holy shit, man. Like one of my buddies like did it, man. It's like, and then to see like all the other stuff that's coming through. I mean, the music videos and like, it's just a lot of work. And I think it's a lot of like risk that's being taken. And, you know, you kind of have to, you know, forgive my French, I guess, you like eat shit for a while and try and figure it out, right? Like you got to figure it out, but
definitely
it's so admirable. It's so cool. And to see where you're at now, it's been a cool like thing to look back on to where it was.
It is cool to look back on that because I feel like I don't think about it often, but when I do, I'm like, wow, like that's pretty dope. Like I remember the day that I was driving to work and I was like, I am putting in my 2 weeks a day, but I was scared shitless. And I like, you know, it's like 5 a.m. and I turn on Gary V. I'm just like, you know, I gotta do this. Bumping in there. It's like, hype me up, Gary.
Yeah.
I need to be able to quit my job and not be afraid of losing the paycheck. And, you know, things worked out, thank God. But I mean, I think if the work ethic and, you know, like work ethic, I think would supply all that, like, you know, the knowledge, you know, like if you don't have work ethic, you're not going to get good at what you do. And if you don't have work ethic, then like none of that would have set me up for that.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if you just quit your job and you're kind of lazy and like you're not taking the time to do these tutorials that you're learning and figuring out kind of your craft and getting better and better. Like I said, from the beginning, the first videos we watched, obviously, we've upgraded like equipment, things like that. But like even, from then to now, it's dramatically different.
Yeah.
But into the networking thing, that becomes now, not only are you you're quick on your time. Like my wife always says, she's real estate is kind of a very, I don't know, crazy business where you kind of have to be on top of your shit, right?
In Reno right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like, I mean, you guys know, trying to buy a house, it's crazy. So you got to be on top of your shit, and so you don't want someone to be like, hey, can you do this? Like, can you go shoot this house, or can you do this video for me? And they're like, oh, I'm like a month out, or like, or I'm just kind of lazy and I don't really want to do it. Like, they're going to find someone else. Right. Yeah. So that's kind of like another key aspect of, it's not just who but it's like you being willing and ready and able to go. And then I even remember Kayla telling me about the lender. Shivani was telling me that the reason she likes it too is because your turnaround is so quick. They have people that they pay them for work, right? Yeah. And then it takes so long to get the work back, and it's like, hello, I know, like, what's going on?
It's not right to make people wait that long. And I know, like, especially now, like, I'm getting more and more busy.
I was gonna say, so when, like, you're busy, like, it's harder to turn around work fast, but you have,
for things like that, like, I try and be really quick with it, especially because they've been with me since day one. Like, they know that I am capable of quick turnarounds. But then things that require, like, much more creativity, like a music video, I tell them, like, just give me 2 weeks, and most of the time I have it done before then. But, like, I just want, like, I don't want to be pressured to then put in, or, to then make something
not good.
Not good for you because you want it done in 2 days, and I have 100 other projects that, and then I'm trying to do my YouTube and like all these things. But and I think when you're starting out too, it's like you have to find anything that's going to set you apart from the competition.
Right.
And, it's like, well, I have like nothing on my plate and I love what I do, so I will do it as soon as I get home. Like, that's just how I got into it. And man, like, now that we're talking about like how it used to be for me with work at the 9-to-5 job back then, I have it so good now. It's ridiculous. Like, it doesn't even seem fair. And like, I was talking about this with Jessica the other day, is that like, we were talking about sleep, and I was like, I hate sleep. I really hate falling asleep, and I don't like sleeping long, and I feel like I always sleep like crap. And she obviously loves sleep, but I was like, I think the reason why is because I don't dread my next day. Like, nothing, almost nothing about it. Even on like my worst day filming, it's still better than working in that warehouse. And like, it honestly couldn't be better. I mean, and that's why when opportunities come up to like either like work for a business or take on more of more of like a professional stance, where it's like I would have to be somewhere a couple times a week at this specific time, I'm very opposed to it, because like I love doing this freelance stuff. Like, I can just be my own boss. I wake up at 6 or 7, go work out, come home, eat breakfast, maybe like listen to a podcast, shower, and then I start editing. And it's like 11 o'clock.
On your time.
And it's that's like the normal, but sometimes I get way stacked up with projects. But
which is, dude, I have the same idea. I mean, because and if you guys don't know, listening, going from training all the time from an Olympic gymnast to now what I do is we manage our gymnastics facilities. We've got 2 here in Reno, the Sparks area. So I help with that, and obviously do my social media. I do clinics, things like that. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you, is like, one of the things, especially with now having a newborn, is I love being able to get up. Like this morning, we both woke up, and obviously you kind of deal with the baby, change the diaper, get her fed, and then Kayla's able to go work out while I kind of hang out with her.
It's awesome.
And then she comes home and she kind of takes care of her while I can go work out. And like, we used to have to be done working out by like 7 or 8, and then you can go to work and do whatever. And now it's like, I just same exact point that I'm trying to make is like being home and it's like 10, 11 o'clock and it's like, I don't really have to be anywhere because like and there are certain days where it's like, yes, like today I had a meeting at this point or do this at that point, but it's like, you don't have to go sit at a desk from 9 to 5 and do that thing. And it's like,
and that is like,
it's a freeing thing, man. It's really cool. Yeah.
I like it. It kind of sucks for me thinking about the people who never get to experience that, because that to me feels like the ultimate freedom. Like when I don't have to clear my vacation time with anyone, when I don't have to worry about the uniform that I have to put on when I go to work, or things like that are, it's just not for me. I mean, I think people are just built differently, and I knew early on. I mean, my first job was at Round Table Pizza, and they made me realize how I'm not going to end up here forever. Like I was like,
for sure.
And then it's just like a constant level up of jobs, and now like it just feels like it couldn't get better. But at that same time of saying like it couldn't get better, but you're still like striving to be better. Like
for sure,
it was already awesome, but then I decided to take up LA. It's like, why would I do that to myself? It was already perfect, but it's just like, but I think that's challenge.
I mean, I think that's the exact thing that we're talking about, going from you working there to finally taking that step to working where you are now. It's like, because you want better, like you want to be better, you want to do more, you want to learn more. You're always, I feel so cliche of like talking about this motivational like bullshit that everybody always talks about, right? But like, I feel like, not to toot anybody's horn, but like to be able to quit your job and do something that you like to do takes a lot of balls. And I know there's a lot of people that do that, right? There's a lot of Olympians out there. But for me, it's like I feel like I did a lot of training and got to a place where like maybe there's certain things that or did or went through that can be motivational and you can pass it along. Same exact shit is like to me, like quitting your job, like that's fucking scary, dude. Like you have a good job, right? And you're like going to quit and like try something else that is like, oh, well, I hope people like this, that I do, this thing that I do, that they're willing to pay for it. And it's going to hopefully provide for my family. So it's like, it's just cool. So that whole like motivational part of it is like totally like, I think allowed, it's the people that are just sitting on their couch that are just like, I'm going to write this up and I'm going to try and sell this, and I've never really done anything, but I'm just going to sell it. And like, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, don't try and sell this.
That's how you end up with like 20 W-2s when you go do your taxes. Cause you're like, well, I just had to get another job because this didn't work out.
Right. Or just nobody wants to listen because it's like, you've never really like taken a risk or like done anything that's been like successful. Like you're just like bullshitting people and like you're scamming people. Like people want to hear from people who have actually kind of either been through shit and like pulled out of it or made something of themselves or done something with what they're trying to do. And I think that's like an important thing. There's so many people out there that are just like, oh, I'm going to try this and sell it. And it's like, no, fucking do something first, figure it out and take that experience and everything and then wrap it up and like, express it to people.
Yeah. This got me thinking, cause I mean, you've definitely had a very abnormal life compared to the normal person.
Yeah.
What did that look like for you? Like, did you ever have to get like a day job, or like, did you always know gymnastics was going to be your thing?
So I have never had an actual job other than at the gym. So kind of back history, grew up in sports, super small town, family didn't have like a lot of money growing up. Dad was a truck driver. Eventually they ended up starting a ready mix plant. Which I remember getting right. Like, this is how small the town was in Fernley, dude. Like, Fernley is a small town around here, if you guys don't know. I was
Ferntucky.
Ferntucky. That's what everyone says, man. So I was getting a ride home from school from a firefighter from the school to my dad's work because my mom was working at a high school or she was also a lifeguard. And then my dad was in the trucking business and then into the ready mix business, and they had a ready mix plant. So I was getting a ride from the firefighter to the ready mix plant, hang out there all the time. I used to help my dad like drive the trucks around and stuff like that. But no, the only job I ever had. So eventually going from that, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, but going from that, we ended up doing gymnastics. We ended up moving to Reno Sparks area because it was a 45-minute drive to practice every day, and my sister and I were doing gymnastics for a while, and it was becoming intense. So when we moved here, they ended up selling the ready mix business, and my parents actually took over the gymnastics gym. The business wasn't doing great. The owner before us was awesome, such a nice dude, but one of the dudes that was just not great business wise, right? Like letting people come for free because he wanted to help them out, just like a really great dude, but like you can't run a business like that, right? So so they took it over and really like turned things around. So I pretty much grew up in the gym. And lucky for me, I guess, as my first job was when I was like in high school was coaching. So I got out of school early. I was taking online courses to get out of school early. So I'd get out of school around like 12:30, be at practice at 1, go from 1 to 4 of practice. I'd coach from 4:30 to 6:30, and then I would train from 6:30 to 8:30. So that was pretty much my day from high school. You're at school at like 7 or 7:45 or something like that till 12, and then I'd train from 1 to 4 and then coach.
And so did you get like a full ride for college or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So with gymnastics, so I had a couple different scholarship opportunities, did different recruiting trips, went to Penn State and Berkeley and Oklahoma. And ended up choosing Oklahoma, so got a full scholarship there. But yeah, really the only job that I had was coaching there, which, as you can see from the training schedule, there's not really other opportunity. But I mean, when I was in high school, dude, like coaching, that for me as a high school student, like my whole day was taken. So really, if you want to do anything, you're going after 8:30. You know, like if you wanted to hang out with anybody, which I mean, really, you would only have to do on the weekends or whatever. But yeah, but I just remember being in high school. I'm like, I was able to pay for, in high school, like you don't have bills, you don't have a mortgage, you pay for gas. I don't think I even paid for my insurance for my car. So it was like, you pay for gas and food and going out with friends, and if you wanted to go to a movie or take your girlfriend to a movie or whatever you wanted to do. So I was like, man, this is cool. Like I can pay for my own stuff. Like you feel like you're paying for everything, but you're now being an adult, you're not.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm thankful for that, not having to have like a normal or what you could say like average job. At the same time, it's like maybe it would be cool to like experience that, but at the same time, like I feel like my schedule was so hectic and crazy, and the time devoted to training and being so strict with that, I didn't really need to have one of those jobs to understand the kind of grind, because you're going through a different grind and it's still kind of similar in different ways,
I think like you don't get to be one of the best in the world if you do have to take on. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some other people out there who had to put on, like get a job during that tough time. But like, I think I would imagine that most people on that trajectory of like, Olympic, like top notch athlete, in the world, probably wouldn't be getting a normal job because like I don't know, you're just built differently. Like
you just don't have time, know, especially in this sport. There's some sports I think that may be different, but with gymnastics, I mean, one, it's fairly expensive to be in when you're doing it. So I'm assuming that I think it's probably harder on the families trying to pay for it. You don't really realize that because you're doing it, but the families that are paying for it are probably working two jobs or something to try and figure it out for you. But finally getting to that point where, and I think once it does become the point of, like you said, you're becoming one of the top, you're probably either getting paid or you're in college or you're getting sponsors or something to where it's feasible enough to get by where you don't have to have the other job. You're not making a ton of money, but it's enough to where you're like, I don't really care. This is my focus and that's my job.
So when you get to college, you got the full ride and you did some training there. Like, is the training paying your bills, or did you have to or were you like getting paid for like events and stuff like that, or like how did you live? Because I think full rides only covers college, right? Like not like your room and board and all that.
Yeah, and even where we went, at Oklahoma, the philosophy from our coach was he gives you a full ride, but like for some schools, full rides are different. Yeah. If that makes sense. So like for us, it was like 12 or I can't remember 12 or like 15 credit hours or something. But it was funny because we compared to the girls' team. You know, my wife now was on the girls' team and she was on a full ride. Well, she was getting checks like every weekend, and I'm like, why am I not getting a check? Well, that was because they try to save extra money for other small scholarships for maybe giving a kid a book scholarship, you know, so he doesn't have to pay for books. Okay. So the full scholarship isn't really like a full scholarship compared to some other schools because we try to, like, I don't have to pay for school or anything. But if I took extra credit hours, maybe you would, or, you know, something like that. Or you're not getting that $50 check or $100 check or whatever it is, you know, on the weekend like they were. But no, during school, man, like, yeah, you get your scholarship check, which is enough to pretty much pay rent and get some groceries, but you're not making a ton by any means. And then at that point, like, if you accepted money from a sponsorship or something, you're considered professional. And once you're considered professional, you can no longer be an NCAA scholarship. So
that's
you
so
have
dirty.
to you have to turn away. Dirty. Yeah. Well, the thing that sucks too is like national team means you're the top, at least at that age group, you're the top 15 in the country, right? And I had made that going into college. I was 17 and I made the top 15 in the country. Sick. And so that means you're supposed to be getting paid. And at that time, it was only like $1,300 a month. I think they're up to like maybe $1,700 a month.
For most college kids, that's dope.
But dude, another $1,300 a month is like fucking sweet, right? Yeah. So, but you can't take it. So that's what's stupid is like,
that like $15,000 a year or something like that.
Yeah, which you know, I mean, you can't live on that as an adult, right? Yeah. But like that's
maybe in Oklahoma with that housing.
Yeah, exactly,
Not
right?
Here, though.
When rents used to be like what $350 a month or something like that. But you know, what I think is stupid is like at least I wish you could just put it away, right? Yeah. The one
oh yeah, you had to spend it, right?
The one avenue was training expense. So like, yeah, if you didn't spend it, it was gone.
Oh my gosh.
So what we would have to do is say, hey, we need training apparel, or we need this equipment or grips or whatever it is, which is, I mean, it has to be legitimate and it goes through the I'm trying to think of the department at the school.
Was your Corvette one of those?
I wish, dude. Someone actually tried
to blow off
people,
steam.
Dude, no, people tried to say I needed transportation to practice, and they tried to buy cars and shit. Yeah, no. The coolest thing.
I might fly with a Tesla these days.
I know.
Like, I mean, because it's like a car and you're saving the world, you know? Well, I don't know, you know, like, and it's not necessarily viewed as like a sports car, even though it's faster than most of them.
They're pretty strict with what they do and stuff like that. But yeah, we would have to get it, compliance. We'd have to get it approved. So say you wanted to buy, you know, a camera and a computer and video yourself and be able to watch it and do whatever, you'd have to send that to compliance and they'd have to approve it. Then you'd go buy it. And then you'd have to send in the receipt, and then you could get reimbursed. So it's like that $1,400 or $1,300 a month or whatever it was.
So you get reimbursed, and then you can pocket that money.
Yeah, well, you have to buy it first, and then you get it back. So it's basically that stuff was paid for. Yeah, cool. So
that actually brings up like something that I know about you that I think is super cool. But like you kind of pioneered the like people like you as a YouTuber. Like you started so early. You were saying how like all your friends thought like you were stupid for doing it or whatever. And like I just think that's so cool because it's like you saw the opening, like that gap in the market, and you're like, I'm gonna do this. And like I just want to hear more about that. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Really,
it's motivating.
Yeah, I don't know what really started it, man. It was like I just I guess social media started getting popular. One of the first things was, I mean, Instagram was like the big thing. And I didn't even have a Twitter in like was it 11 or 13? I think it was 11. And I went to this World Cup, and one of my buddies was like, dude, you got to get a Twitter. Like, you know, it's good to have, like, and he was like,
that's how I got a Twitter. Someone said that.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it hasn't done anything for me. But I mean, for you probably.
But he was like 6 or 7 years older than me, and he was in the gymnastics community. He was an older guy, and he had an agent, you know, and shit. Yeah. So I was like, damn, all right. So literally at the meet, I created one and whatever. And I mean, yeah, Twitter's kind of like whatever, you know, Twitter's not like a really good, I don't think, like sponsorship thing, but it could be if you have enough, I guess, but I don't see it as in terms of like Facebook or Instagram, it's not, or YouTube. It's not. Do you
know what your Twitter like number is, like your followers
right now?
Yeah.
60 or 70,000 or something like that.
I don't think that's that bad. I feel like most people I see on there, like unless you're a mega superstar, you know, like I don't know. I feel like I don't see people with hundreds of thousands or millions of not subscribers. I'm in the YouTube world.
Yeah,
followers.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you're someone like Joe Rogan or whatever,
or you're a news outlet.
Yeah.
I feel like it's totally, every social media is a little bit different. I feel like almost like Facebook's almost, I mean, there's athletes that you follow, but like, I don't go on Facebook and look up like athletes and inspirational, you know what I mean? Like it's more Facebook's like family and friends. Exactly. Instagram's kind of like the business,
business motivation.
Yep, exactly. And Twitter's kind of like news, right? Like so,
Twitter,
it's like
I don't even know why I have it.
I don't even go on Twitter.
I just post on there. I think I have like 30 followers on there. It's a
right, yeah.
No, if I want to watch the outrage of political times, I'll get on Twitter. If I want to have a good time, I'll get on Instagram. Mm-hmm. If I want to watch the other outrage on the political spectrum, I'll just go to Facebook.
Yeah.
Because people...
It's just, yeah. But anyway, so that was one of the first things. And then I'd always kind of done Instagram or whatever. And I don't know, I don't really know how it started. I think I just started getting into fitness and like being more in tune to my nutrition and like wanting to do everything I could for training. And I started following people there on Instagram.
Yeah.
And seeing that, you know, some people were doing like motivational stuff or instructional stuff on there. I'm like, man, well, it'd be kind of cool if I did some of that stuff, you know, for gymnastics. So then I started that. And then actually I had a buddy who was like, hey, you should start a YouTube channel. This was after the first Olympics already. And he was like, I think they'd really like to see like kind of like what you do and like the daily routine kind of thing. So that's what I started. And, you know, unfortunately, my buddy Niall from the UK, he actually just retired, is a great gymnast from Great Britain, just retired, but has a huge YouTube page that started a little bit after me, and he started doing these challenges, dude. Oh my gosh, he took off. So he's over like 1 million subscribers now. So he smashed it. He's done a really good job, but he's got some cool.
So you found something that worked and just like
he did, man. He did this challenge thing, and then he just stuck with that and kicked it and just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And he's got other great. He's one of those characters. Like for me, it's hard for me to like the filming that we do in the gym in front of other people. Like it's uncomfortable. I don't really like doing it.
Like the workout videos.
Yeah, the workout videos or filming or vlogging in front of other people.
Since early on, we were hearing people were talking shit.
Yeah, you know, and it's not a very comfortable. It's weird. It's stupid.
It is a little weird.
When you watch
you feel superficial.
Yeah, but when you watch people that you like, you're like, holy shit, this is cool.
Yeah, it's motivating.
It's something cool.
That
you know,
changes some people's lives. Like that.
Right.
Like the 10% of the 100% that watch it actually end up
do something about it.
Doing something, and you know, so like it does help people.
And he's got a different personality. He's very like outgoing and like loud and just like he's got a great personality for YouTube. So I think that was another thing that kind of like took off.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
there
man,
are
like,
those personalities.
That helps. It helps for sure because it just kind of keeps you like engaged and entertained. But yeah, nobody else in like, especially in the US, was really doing it. And I just saw the value. I was like, I know I'm not going to be able to do gymnastics forever. Like, I'm not going to be able to do this forever. So I have to do something to kind of set up my brand.
Super smart.
And figure out like how to make money after this is over, right? Like this is my dream. This is my goal. This is the only thing I'm focused on. But at the same time, what if I capture that and can transition it into something for when I'm done? Because like you're only everybody talks about it. Like you're only an athlete for so long, and you can't, you know, you can't, especially gymnastics. Like Tom Brady's 40-something years old. Mm-hmm. There's never going to be a 40-something-year-old in the U.S. that's on the Olympic team. Like it's not for gymnastics. It's just not gonna happen. It's insane. It's too hard. Mm-hmm. Like if you make 30, you're lucky.
Yeah, it's got to be hard.
Too many
on your
injuries.
Body.
Things. I mean,
that's the reason you're not doing it again, right?
Yeah,
because your body can't hold up anymore for the strain.
I mean, you could do it, but you're never going to be making the teams, right? You could always like train and have fun, but like you're never going to be at the top of your level and be that age. Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. So, but yeah, I just saw the value in it, and I just, you know, even then, after finally once I could turn professional, then you would start seeing some sponsorships come in from it, and you know, even have blowback from people in the USA Gymnastics community in terms of not like team selection stuff, but like that were a part of the program would be like, you know, don't show this training or try, you know, why are you, don't spend, you know, gymnastics needs to be your only focus. And it's like, it is my only focus, but
Yeah.
when I'm done training, I can go home and edit, and this gives me something else to do, an avenue, something else to do,
Yeah.
rather than like just sitting at home and doing nothing. Like,
When you don't get paid as an Olympic athlete, right? Like the Olympics doesn't pay you.
no, the only way you get paid is like when you make the team. Usually, you get like a bonus by making the team, and then if you medal, usually.
Yeah. So then it's like you can't tell me no when this is my life that I got. Like I would understand, you know, if they're like, hey, don't show like how we are practicing, like because we don't want China to know like how good we're doing right now or something like that. I could understand like a little bit of that, but it's like it's kind of like how I hear Joe Rogan talking about fighters needing to like figure out what they're going to do after fighting, and it seems like a handful of them now are going into commentating like he did. And like that seems to work out well. And so it seems like you found like a pretty cool avenue, you know, and like early on, and because this is what year did you say? 2011?
Yeah.
That's when you started YouTube?
Well, I started my channel in 2009, I think, just to get a channel, but I think I probably started actually filming some stuff like 2013 or 14.
I bet you the reactions would be completely different now that it's 2020 and people realize like this is kind of the way that things work now. It's like podcasts, YouTube. Like if you want any kind of external thing from what you're doing, you know, like you have to document it.
Well, and this wasn't like the Olympic Committee. This was from USA Gymnastics Committee. So technically there are the it's kind of hard. So when you get paid from on like the national team, I was telling you in the top 15, it's like you're kind of getting paid through USA Gymnastics, but you're kind of getting paid through the USOC. So like the US Olympic Committee. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So the people in USA Gymnastics are like, oh, this should be your only goal. You shouldn't be focusing on that stuff. But I'm like 20-something years old. Yeah. I'm going to have I have a wife. Like I have things that I'm going to have to pay for after this is done. Yeah. But they don't care. They only want like the results.
They want you to perform.
Right. They want the like results and like that's it. So that was like, you know, and I get it. That's their reasoning. But like, yeah, I mean, imagine how much more publicity you could get and more exposure to your sport if everybody was doing this. Right. Or maybe you created an avenue to provide this for
Imagine
people.
You made every Olympic gymnast create one lit TikTok a week. They would be blowing up.
Right.
Yeah, but
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
People just didn't understand.
Yeah. And so I think it's really cool because like you started YouTube early. And right now you have like 33,000 subscribers. Like that's super cool. And so you went from like Olympics to like Olympic gymnastics and then fitness. And now you're like in this half blend of between like fitness and then like your daily lifestyle. More so like some fitness, some fishing, all that stuff. Yeah. Like what's that been like trying to transition?
Dude, it's hard because I was getting some good like growth because it was like consistently like fishing, fitness and like gymnastics. And people love and like nutrition, and finally like you start getting some traction and people start grabbing on and like kind of wanting to know more and watch more and this and that. And then it's like, okay, you go to the Olympics and that's over and now I'm retired and now it's like, okay, now what? Like I'm not going into the gym to train every day and do gymnastics anymore. So then, I took on this fitness thing and that, was doing pretty good for a little bit. And it's like, but now with a family and a job and things that you have to do, it's like, I can't go and film every single day in the gym anymore. Like I don't have the time to do that. And the time that I do have, I want to go do stuff that I never got to do because like when you're training, like I was saying earlier, you're waking up at 7 going to high school and then you're done at 12:30 and you go and train from 1 to 4 and then you're coaching from 4:30 to 6:30 and you're training from 6:30 to 8:30. Like I never had time to go camping. We never went camping really as a family except for when I was super young. Never learned really how to fish. I did some, once or twice. So now I'm trying to do those things and have fun. And I like, kind of like you, like I like creating content. I like having that engagement with people that I would never have met other than finding them through this kind of like social media platform. but I'm also being able to document that stuff. And that's what I found out by accidentally deleting those videos that I did. You guys don't know, I deleted like 30 YouTube videos on accident, and they were able to recover most of them, which was dope.
How many of them do you remember?
I think it was 21 got deleted or 22, and I got 19 back.
Okay.
So I lost
pretty
like
good on
3 of
YouTube's
them or
end
something.
for
Yeah.
being able to.
They told me
get
they
back to
couldn't,
you.
and then all of a sudden, like 3 days later, like, hey, we got them back.
They're like, wait, he's actually an important person. Let's get back to him.
Dude, I don't know what happened, but they randomly emailed me, and I was like, let's do it. That's cool. So
that's awesome.
But it's like, it's cool because like I like the idea of like the different shots, and you know, like I'm nowhere near obviously like your level, but I'm not really trying to be. I'm just trying to document like the story of like what trip we're taking or where we're going. And one of the first trips we did was going to Yosemite. When I moved back home, my family and I, we got to go to Yosemite and spend some time there, a couple days there, and that's one of my favorite videos just to go back and like watch, because it's like, it's so cool. Like, you know, to be able to look back on those memories. And if anything, like we have those to go back and watch. Like if anyone else wants to watch, cool. But if anything, you can go back and watch them and document your life.
That like, I mean, that's a huge point that it like, if people don't have a YouTube, I don't think that they realize how vlogging can be that like, you are solidifying that memory. Like you will never forget it because it's right there.
Yep.
And like, I don't vlog that often, but the times that I have, I've rewatched those vlogs tons of times. Yeah. And like you get all those feelings and those memories coming right back. And it sucks in the moment because you're like, man, I have to carry this camera around. I have to carry this. And then like you feel like an idiot in front of certain people, like filming yourself. You feel like they think that you're, you know, just like self-centered or something, which is not what it's about. No, but like until you do it, you don't know that. But yeah, I'm so glad every time that I do vlog, but you know, it's tough. It's
a pain. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
I think you have to find like that, like median of like understanding maybe a vlog's not going to be the best, like, you know, like music video or like edit or whatever you're doing. Yeah. But to be entertaining and to have that like memory that you're kind of like capturing and enjoying. So that's what I try to do, is I try to find like, okay, how can I make this entertaining enough for people to watch, but at the same time allow me to have enough fun at this memory, you know, like, and not let the whole video thing take it over. Yeah.
Have that balance. To where you're experiencing and capturing. Yeah.
Probably hard to do for the super in tune video guys like you.
Well, I mean, like I think back to like our New York trip, and I literally carried that camera around my neck like the entire time. I just got the camera, the Canon 1DX Mark II that we're filming this on, freaking brick of a camera, thing's heavy as hell, and I was so paranoid of someone stealing it because I mean we. At the time, like that was half of our savings, and I was like, "Oh my god, like this is rough. Like this is not, you know." As like this will be huge for me, but it's, you know, and so I'm carrying this around, and just because I don't know when that good moment's gonna happen, and like I wasn't vlogging, I was just like getting videos and photos, and like some of my favorite photos are from New York. Like I've got one hanging up right over there, and it's just like. I don't know. And then you said something about, like you were talking about vlogs. You're like, oh, I'm not at your level, but I do this. It's funny because, so you think that way about like the filming and editing, whatever. But it's like, I used to, but I don't try and think that way anymore. Like I used to think that way about like our YouTube channels. Cause like, I mean, last year I was at like 100 subscribers, and that's such a daunting, you know, you're like, what, when's this ever going to work? Like how you Google time and time again, like how does someone get a bigger subscriber count? And you know, you just have to have like persistence and, you know, quality and consistency, all that. But it's like, I used to like constantly look at your channel like, why do I even, you know, like even at like 33,000, it's like, that's such a daunting goal for me, you know? But like, I think the thing about people like us is like the resilience to stick through it, you know? For sure. I mean, I don't think a lot of people even have the interest in this type of thing, but like the people that do, which It's probably, I feel like at this point, probably 25% of the population wants to do like some sort of YouTube influencer, whatever it is.
Content creator.
Yeah, like you have to be persistent and like block out those types of thoughts. Like, and so it's like, so you're not the best filmer in the world if you thought like, you know, that I was super good and that just put you down, then you would never film these memories. If I thought your YouTube channel was super high, then I never pursued mine. Right. You know, and I'm still like a 33rd of yours, you know, but it's like that doesn't stop me at all. I just look at growth. I look at like the uplifting comments that I get on there, and I just enjoy it.
Right. And to add on to that, I think the cool part is everybody's different, right? So like the people that are following you for a different reason. They're following for maybe your like tips, and then every so-and-so your vlogs or whatever. Yeah. I think the people obviously that used to follow or are maybe are still kind of following along, one like gymnastics, like fitness, nutrition, and then maybe have kind of like just drawn to the personality, right? Now it's like I do more of like vlogging, the family, travel, fishing. Like I'm getting into all these hobbies. So like, I don't want to do a tutorial on like this type of fishing because like I've only been doing this type for a year or two, right? Like I'm not going to try and teach you how to do this when I've only been doing it for a year. Yeah. Maybe getting good at it, but I've only been, you know, but I think that's like another avenue. It's just like everybody might have like a different channel or different avenue to reach people and different memories kind of that you're creating on your channel, whatever it is, you know, there's different things out there for everybody, but that's, you know, and one of the things, like I was saying earlier, is like I want to create stuff that I enjoy, and I've really had to kind of learn that because I went from like an average view of like 1,500 to like 2,000 views to like now I'm getting only a few hundred on some of them, and I'm like, man, well, is it even worth doing it? But it's like it's worth it to me because, like I said, I'm creating this video that I'm going to be able to look back on later and be like, that was really cool. And then I'm also creating stuff that I like to create. Yeah. If it turns into something great, if it doesn't, I'm still doing it because I like to do it, and then I'll have it for future, you know? So it's not always just like I have to grow it to grow. And because there's people out there, like I was explaining earlier with the personality on YouTube, I mean, there's so many people out there that like do stupid shit just to try to get like views and likes. Like I get there's like thumbnail stuff that you could do, but like, I'm not going to go out and act like completely stupid and be a completely different person on YouTube than I am like in person. Yeah. Right. Like maybe I'll like maybe cuss less or something or whatever, something like that. Yeah. Not show a lot of alcohol because I want to be, you know, promote for kids, and which we still promote. Right. But like, I'm not going to go out there and just like do a stupid video or set something completely up to try to be funny. Like my channel is not about being funny. And there, you know, there's people out there that those are the ones that I don't really like adhere to. I think like people try to like do stuff just for likes and views and clicks in the wrong way. Like I'm just trying to create shit that I like, and maybe people want to follow along. And if they do, cool. Yeah. That was something that Logan Paul was saying that he did, was like made this persona of himself on camera of being this kind of like jackass character back when, you know, he got in trouble for filming in the suicide forest in Japan and whatnot. And like, I don't know if you've ever like, because I know a lot of people wrote him off after that. Right. And like I did for a period of time too, but like I get curious every now and then. Like I would like tune into his podcast, and he seems to have changed like a ton, but he talks about how he did have like just this character of who Logan Paul, like, you know, who everyone grew to love him in Vine as being this wild child kind of thing, and then he never let that go until, you know, shit hit the fan. But had to kind of back it up. Yeah, and that's kind of like proof that like, you know, it might work in the short term, but in the long term, it might not. So. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, you feel fake doing something like that. Yeah. Because it's not you. And I don't want. Yeah, that's work. I don't want to do that. I want to do something that I enjoy, and I want to be who I am. I don't want to put stuff out there that I'm not. You know, and I think that's important for everybody, even like kids that want to be famous on YouTube or do whatever. Like, just be you. Like, if people are gonna watch, they're gonna watch. If they're not, then hey, maybe you have to figure something else out or figure a different avenue out. You know. Definitely. All right. Well, I'll just close this out with thank you for coming and christening this white-walled studio with a bunch of holes. That's Love it. But yeah, thanks for coming and sharing your life and YouTube knowledge with all of us.
Appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this as well.
Okay, man.
But
Thanks for having
coming.
me.
Let's pour
Appreciate
another
it.
drink.
Yeah.